All praises to Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawah Ba'asham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. And this is a video going to be a lesson on how Yahawah is preparing our spirits to deny the Motb if we are of the elect. And I'm going to start with this scripture here in Revelation chapter 3 and verse 8. Revelation chapter 3 verse 8. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee, because thou hast kept my word because thou hast kept the word of my patience. I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And that's going into the Motb, and that's the ultimate time of temptation that's going to come upon all the world to try them, man. Everyone on the earth is one day going to be made to face the decision on whether they want to believe in Yahawah, believe in something higher than themselves, whether they want to believe in the man of this world, the man that's in the current control of this society, who has shown himself to be corrupt as all hell. He's not shown himself to be righteous. So if in that time when people that take the Motb take it, they've chosen wickedness. Like it's going to be undeniable that you have chosen and just become accustomed and accepting that the world's wicked, and it only can ever be wicked, and you don't have no future hopes, no hope, no faith, which faith is hope and hope is faith. You've just lost all of that within you, in that the world could potentially be a better place than what it is now, right? But the elect of the nation of Israel are not going to have that. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, and the cause of all, right? That's the time that's going to be upon the whole earth to triumph, is this time that's being spoken of here, where every single person, rich, poor, how many situations in this world do rich people and poor people be made to go through the same things? Never, really. Great and small, how often do the great and the small have to go and face the same tribulations in this world ever, really? Never. But with the Motb, everyone's going to have to go through the same test, man. Verse 16, in the cause of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. When is it that the free man and the poor and the bondman, right, are made to face with the same temptation? But men in prison are going to be tested the same way as people out free in the world are going to be tested, man. They're all going to be tested with the same thing. Who do you love? Who do you trust, right? That's a song lyric, right? Who do you love? Who do you trust, right? I think it's LL Cool J. But in the terms of this, who do you love and who do you trust? Do you love Yahawah? Do you trust Yahawah? Or do you trust Esau and love Esau, man? Which he's not even likable. Esau is not even likable, man. The things that he's shown you are not even likable. He's not even a likable person. There's not really any Edomite that's a likable person, man. The only reason why people pretend to like Esau is because of money. Take away the money from an Edomite, and what do you need to talk to them for? What would you need to talk to a poor Edomite for in this world? What do you need to speak to them about? What? You can't benefit in any way from speaking to them. So what would you need to talk to them about? And that's why the poorest Edomites are the ones that are the most bold to be racist and hateful to Jake, because they ain't got nothing to lose. And the richest Edomites will try and will succeed at avoiding being around Jake whenever they don't want to. If they don't want to be around any of you Jakes, they don't have to. They can make themselves a place in the world where you can't go, and they can set up laws and have a police force to keep you away from them unless you're in a predicament situation in front of them. That's the only time them kind of Edomites will happily be in front of you Jakes, when you're about to be sent back up to the Heavenly Father in some kind of way. That's when they'll want to be in front of you Jakes, man. Verse 17, in fact, verse 16, the last bit, to receive a charogma in their right hand, a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the charogma had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And this is the time that's being set up on this earth to tempt everyone. But Yahawah's setting up the elected nation of Israel's spirit so that it's strong enough to deny this, man. They're the only ones that are going to be that have been crafted slowly throughout this time on the earth to deny it. They're getting ready to deny it, man. Right? And let me go to this. The first catalyst that started everyone off on the journey that they're on to be against this world is this. Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And Yahawah said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, right? And set a mark upon the forehead, which this mark is not the same as the mark mentioned in Revelation 13 and 16, right? This mark is a different word. In the Hebrew, this word is thawa, right? Which is a exemption mark, right? Just like if you try to, like, people that used to go to nightclubs, people that go to sporting events or whatever, you might be given a badge, a wristband. People that go to theme parks get given a wristband, a badge, a stamp of something, right? And when you go to the airport, you get a stamp on your passport, right? And that's a mark that says a mark, something that you can physically see, right? Or something that you can see that shows, okay, you're allowed to do this, you're allowed to be here, you're exempt from this, you're allowed it, accepted in some way. Yahawah setting up spiritual marks, a thawa, on certain people, right? And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst of. And if anyone that really thinks about, man, how they came to know that they're an Israelite and believe what they believe now, it began really with you being curious about the wickedness of this world in some way, whether it was the women thing, right? You just kept wondering, man, why are our women only the main ones that talk and run up their mouth like this? You might have been looking at the thinking about the electric slave trade, like, how is it that we went through all that brutal ass stuff like that and no one cares and just tell us to get over it? But then when they go through things that are way less, they don't ever get over it and are still running their mouth about it. You might have been wondering why we have to go to our enemy for the want of all things. You might have been looking at the talent of our people, but then wondering, how come we got so much talent and yet we're poor and have to go to these people that are clearly weaker than us, man. If you was to line up every single Israelite in this world, right, of all the different nations, and line up any other nation and compare them physically, a physical stature, you'd be like, man, how the hell are we in captivity and these people over us? You'd be like, what the hell? You'd see all these Edomites that look like crows and scavenger birds and rats and be like, how the hell are these people trillionaires? But then these people over here, all these handsome and beautiful people over here, they ain't even got $1,000 between them. And you'd be like, man, how did this come to be? That this nation of Israelites that are the clearly most beautiful and handsome and the best of most stature, of greatest strength, of greatest wisdom, how is it that these people are below these people that look so disgusting? And it's only because of Yahawah setting it up like that, right? It's only because of that. But Yahawah's setting up our nation to go through something completely different than theirs, man. Yahawah endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath to destruction. He's endured all that, but because he knew that the day was going to come and he was going to pay him back for it. And the Lord's long suffering. So he endured all of it, but that doesn't mean he's letting it slide though. He endured it for a time, knowing that there's going to be a time when he pays Esau back for all the things that he allowed him to get away with in the past. Right? But all believers, like I was saying anyway, went through a period of time where they were just like, what the hell is going on in this world, man? And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And that was the beginning catalyst, right? That sent them on the path to understanding and knowing the Lord, man. That was the beginning catalyst. But from there, other things then began to take place. Sirach chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptation. So let's use an example. You might have had a certain diet that was worldly, offers all hell. And when you didn't know about the name of the Lord, didn't know about being a Hebrew Israelite, didn't know about any of those things, that diet was enough. That badass diet that was horrible and terrible was enough to allow you to run 10 miles. You know, it might have been enough to make you slap out 200 push-ups in a row. It was enough to make you be a basketball player. You might have been a basketball player, been able to dunk from the free throw line, right? You might have been able to do backflips, all kind of crazy parkour moves and all that, right? But now that you know about the Lord, for 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 1 year, 2 years, a year and a half, 7 months, 8, 9 months, whatever the time frame. Now that you know the name of the Lord, all of a sudden that same diet just don't cut it no more. You're coughing and spluttering all over the place. Your health just ain't right no more. And what's happened? Well, now you're on the path of knowing the Lord, you're coming to serve the Lord, and you're being prepared, and your soul is being prepared for temptation, because our soul has to be strengthened, because the day is coming where our soul is gonna be tested, man. It's gonna be our soul, our spirit, that's gonna deny the MOTB, which is gonna allow our flesh to deny the MOTB, right? By our spirit being strong enough to be like, nah, I've done that. We're not gonna put that into our flesh, and therefore we're not gonna get jacked up, man, by them ICBMs. But our spirits are being prepared to be strong enough in that day, because it's gonna be our spirit that sustains this, man. That allows our flesh to even be able to handle certain things, man. This weak flesh for a while, for the last bit of time that we got it left, which is at the most, like me. No one send for me when I say this, man. At the most in time frame of what I think, I couldn't picture how this society could last even more than 10 years, man. I couldn't picture how this society could be like 10 years in time, last even another 10. 5 even sounds like a stretch, to be honest with you. For this society to go on 5 more years, like everything in order to make the society crash and in order to push the MOTB technology, it's already here already. There ain't no need for nothing else to happen. Like there's literally no need for nothing else to be done. What else? They've got AI. They've got the MOTB technology. They got self-driving damn cars. They got robots that can do backflips, do martial arts, all kind of crazy shit. Robots that can run marathons faster than humans, breaking world records. What else? What else do you want? How much more do you need to try and get it shaking? How much more do you need for the NWO? How much more? What else you want, man? A flipping robot that can do the moonwalk. Like, what else do you need, bro? And that Edomite that was going around calling Jakes the N-word is actually quite a beautiful spiritual example of Esau as a nation as a whole. He went sending for Jacob, thought that it was the time to take him down, right? And ended up in captivity, right? His plan was to try and unalive Jake, right? But he ended up not being able to unalive Jake and ended up in captivity. That's what happened to that Edomite. And that's what's going to happen to Esau. He's going to come after Jake in Jacob's trouble, right? His plan is going to be to get rid of every single one of us, and the rest of them that he can't get rid of or that are prepared to bow down to him, just make them be perpetual slaves in a digital world, right? And then we're done. That's his goal. But what's going to actually happen is he's going to end up as a captive. Like what happened to that Edomite going around calling Jake the N-word, just going around harassing him. He wanted to try and take a Jake out. His plan flopped. He got punched in his mouth, tumped up, still was losing even though he had weapons, right? Still was losing even though he had weapons. And then didn't unalive him and ended up in captivity, which is what prison is. And then crying now and trying to beg for mercy, right? Trying to beg for mercy, man. That's exactly what is going to happen on a grand scale. And all the people that try to help are going to be destroyed too, along with that. But let me carry on. Verse 2, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart, because the judgments of the Lord and the temptation and the sharpening of the Lord and the trying of the flames of fire, right, is ups and downs, right? It's never all continually just getting jacked up, right? There's times of good times and then there's bad times, man. And that's why you have to thank Yahawah Shem Yahushai, whether it's a good or a bad day. You have to still praise Yahawah Shem Yahushai, whether it's a good day or it's a bad day, because all of the combination of good days and bad days are ultimately in your hope should be to prepare you to not take the Motb. Right? Verse 4. Whatsoever, in fact, verse 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Which, what's the last end? The last end is first and foremost that time, that defeating the temptation of the Motb. And then the ultimate last end is getting beamed up in them chariots and being made immortal, to where you're never going to have to worry about perishing or experiencing anything negative ever again. You know how crazy that is to say? That once we're changed, we're not going to experience anything negative again. There's not going to be no negativeness that we are going to experience. We're going to have to judge the heathen, but that's going to be something negative that they're going to experience because they've sinned, and now they're going to have to be judged for it. Us judging a person for breaking Yahweh's laws is not us experiencing a negative. That's actually us experiencing a positive, because we get to honor the God that gave us immortality and all these beautiful things. That's us getting to further worship the God that chose us to be the chosen of his own will. And we're lucky that he chose that, because we could have quite easily been any other nation. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Because we go, like, I ain't even going to use me, right? I ain't even going to try and use no examples from me. But I can see, when I see videos and watch videos, and I can see the things that I see people happening to me. Like, sometimes you can just see, by looking at the person's face, you be like, raw, man, what the fuck's bothering him? There's a spirit trying to bother this brother. There's a spirit trying to bother that brother. There might be a physical scoffer trying to bother a brother. You might be seeing, like, just seeing and be like, man, or some brother might tell a story about something that they're going through, and it will comfort you to a certain degree, because you're like, oh, I thought that I was the only one going through that, and then you be like, oh, that's a thing that lots of people are going through. So then it makes you know that, although it doesn't make you happy that you hear somebody else is going through something jacked up, but it makes you understand that you're not alone, right? Or if you thought, oh, you're a lesser person within the rankings or whatever, and you hear that someone's going through the same thing as you, it makes you know that you're in good company. Because if they're going through that and they're higher ranked than you or whatever, right, and then you're going through it as well then you're in good company then. If you ain't having no comfortable days and it just sailing off into the sunset, living up in this world, and then getting plenty of good days all the time, right? That's a good thing. Right? That's actually a good thing, man. Let's carry on. Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And that's what Yahweh is putting all of his elect through, whether they know it, that they are of the elect or not, because none of us know that we're of the elect anyway. But where everyone's being tried and tested, that is of the elect. And some of us have looked people that are of the elect in the eyes, whether we know we have or not. Right? The elect are on the earth. There's got to be some people that are calling upon the name of Yahawah right now that are of the elect. Some of them, right? Surely some of the people that are calling upon the Lord right now are of the elect. I'm not saying calling out no names and saying who it is, but surely some of the people that are calling upon the name of the Lord right now are going to, in the future, be beamed up in them chariots, man. Surely. It couldn't possibly be a thing of everyone that's calling upon the Lord right now were really 2/3. That would be absolutely ridiculous. Some of them have got to be true believers, right? Verse 6, and maybe it could be all of them are believers. How about that? How about that, man? Or a large percentage of them are believers. The people that all believe the true doctrine anyway. Maybe it could be a thing that all of them are believers, man. Or a very high percentage of them are. Verse 6, believe in him and he will help thee all that I way aright, and trust him, and in the time to come, these things are going to matter more. When you're faced with the Motb, these things are going to matter more than ever. When you can't just pick and choose, like right now, everyone pretty much can just pick and choose whatever they want to eat for their dinner, or they know that they're going to be able to eat. But let's just say that you was in a situation where you didn't know if you're going to eat in the next 24 hours. Okay, that's bad. But not being able to eat not knowing when you're going to eat in the next 40 hours is worse, right? And then that's bad, but that's manageable to a certain degree as well. But what about if you wasn't knowing where the next meal is going to be in the next 72 hours? Or whether you didn't know where your next meal is going to be in the next 4 days, right? Which would be 96 hours? Or what if you didn't know when the next meal is going to be in general? That's the times that's going to be coming, man, where certain people are not going to be knowing when the hell they're going to eat next. Verse 7, ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fail. And that's the thing that we're going to be having to hope for, man, Yahawah's mercy. When Esau's trying to do whatever the hell he wants to try and do, all the evil things that you could even imagine to try and get you to take the Motb, psychological manipulation, right? Physical manipulation to try and get you to take the Motb, man. Because he don't want you to believe in Yahawah. Because then he said that's more of a stain on him for his lack of faith in Yahawah. And that's going to be more of a thing like, okay, I see, like Esau doesn't want it to be understandable why Yahawah chose the Israelites instead of the Edomites. He wants it to seem like a mistake. He wants it to seem like Yahawah made a mistake choosing us instead of them. So us having faith is a thing that he despises. And Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, goes into that. Right? That they hate even to look at us. Because we look at their ways as counterfeit. And our ways are different. Our ways are another fashion. They don't like it, man. Verse 8, ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. And if we have faith in Yahawah Shem Yashai, when all hell breaks loose, man, we'll win. We'll win this phase of our nationality, of our nation, where we had to go through face defeat in the Motb, man. Verse 9, ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord Yahawah and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? And there's going to be a whole bunch of calling upon the name of the Lord when all hell breaks loose, man. And certain people that like didn't want to believe what the name of the Lord was, they might not even be able to fix their tongue to say the name, even though they hear believers calling upon it, man. Their mouth might not work properly to say it, man. We'll be saying Yahawah Shai, and they'll be talking about some Yeshua, thinking that they're saying the same thing. Some Yahweh bin Yazriel and all that BS that they'll be talking. They'll be thinking that they're saying the same thing. You'll have them bug outs talking all that EA, you know, all that EA or whatever the hell they were talking about. People are going to be saying all kind of things, calling upon all kind of. You're going to have the Jesus people that are going to be trying to come with all that. But Yahawah and Yahawah Shai are going to be the names that work in that time. Because they are the names. Verse 11, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction. And one of the times, the affliction that we're hoping to overcome, the main time, is defeating this Motb, man. All the sins that you committed and have asked for repentance, you can't do that with this. You can't ask for no repentance for that, man. Right? Verse 12. Woe to the fearful hearts and faint hands. And they're going, mate, if your hand gets faint in that Motb phase, you're going to give your hand to them. You're like, go on and do it. Give it me then. Give me that CHIP. And they'll willingly jack your hand up, man. And plunge that CHIP into there. And then you'll just be looking stupid, man. And you'll feel, after you do that, that spiritual drain leaving you, man. You'll feel the Spirit leave you. You can't try and talk about, no, I've got the Holy Spirit with the Motb in you. You ain't got the holy nothing. You've got a holy demon. And that's why this time is so important, because you ain't got, you don't know who's of the elect when nobody's got an Motb, right? But you can tell who definitely isn't of the elect if they have got an Motb. If you get an Motb in your body, a CHIP, you are not of the elect. And nobody has to question no more whether, oh, is that brother right in the spirit? Is that, mate? And you can't be trying to be a person that's got Motb in you, questioning whether anyone else is right in the spirit, because you ain't going to be right in the spirit if you take an Motb. So you've lost your rights and your authority to even judge anybody else. If once you take that, you can't tell anybody else anything, because you're through yourself. You're off. Your candle's gone out yourself if you take the Motb, man. You ain't got to worry about questioning whether or debating on whether someone's of the elect once they take that. And if you take it yourself, you better not even be talking about whether anybody else is or isn't of it. You yourself neither, because you ain't. That's what it's going to be. And that's why we have to hope that our spirit's strengthened to overcome that, man. We have to hope. We have to hope, man. Because the thing is, it's not of us. It's whether Yahawah strengthen our spirit for that purpose. Because like a person that goes longer thinking that they're a believer, and then let's say there wasn't, that means that Yahawah played an even greater trick on them, right? And that's a hard pill to swallow, man. That would be a hard pill to swallow, rather than people that have already bogged out now and already have accepted that they don't believe on the Lord. Somebody that goes further in, still thinking that they believe, and then they don't. That's not the one, man. That's not the one. And that's why, I hope that Yahawah is making me be of the elect, man. I hope so. Right? I hope so, man. And that's all we can do, is hope and pray that we're of the elect. But we can't make him change his mind now. What we can do to try and show us a sign that we are, though, is still carry on keeping our faith. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. Verse 12 again. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth 2 ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will he do when the Lord shall visit you? And man, the Lord is going to visit when that Motb has been given to all the people that were supposed to get it, man. The Lord's going to show up on the earth. And people are going to be burnt with fire in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And that, man, you wouldn't want to be in that situation, man. That's going to be etched in your memories forever in the kingdom. When that annual celebration comes, you're going to remember that day when you looked up and saw Yahawah's face with anger and disappointment at you just melting off in that lake of fire, man. Or in some of the rivers of fire that's going to be in all these other places that ain't America, Babylon the Great. There's a lake of fire. But there's going to be some other little pots and divots of fire too, where these ICBMs are going to be going off as well, man. A lot of other nations and places and different kingdoms are going to get a taste of that fire too. Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in their forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahawah, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. You wouldn't want to go through that. I don't want to go through that. You wouldn't want to go through that, man. You don't want to face that. You don't want to face that, man. And the thing about this, believing in Yahawah Shem thing, is nothing to do with big muscles or how much books you read, right? Or how much money you've got in your bank account, or who you know in the world, or how smart you are, or your charisma, right? Or how good you are with the ladies, or how, you know what I mean? It's about, did Yahawah choose you from the foundation of the world? Yes or no? That's it. It ain't about nothing else but that. Did Yahawah choose you? Oh, he did? Okay, you're going to make it then. Yahawah didn't choose you? Okay, you ain't going to make it. Oh, but I've been studying. Oh, but I've been doing this. Oh, but I've been doing that. Okay, and? So what, man? Didn't Yahawah choose all of his disciples, right? And one of them had a devil? Verse 15, they that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. And one of the ways that Yahawah's told us, we're not supposed to take the Motb. We're not supposed to, man. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the Lord, which is going to be when we get given that new covenant, right? That's how we're going to ultimately be filled with the Lord. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight. And one of the ways that we're going to humble our souls in his sight, if we're of the elect, is we're going to be prepared, which these bodies ain't nothing anyway, man. These bodies ain't worth a damn anyway. They're the best that Yahawah gave us now to be able to do what he wants us to do. But they ain't nothing. These bodies have jacked up, had all kind of fast food in them, right? Been mashed up, man. Committed all kind of sins. Bodies mash up, had all this kind of dirty, filthy alcohol that exists in this world that can't even really be considered wine. The wine and the drinks of this society can't even be really considered drink, man. That's dirt, mate. Had soda in them, these bodies, right? Fizzy drinks and all that from when you were younger. Sweets, chocolates, right? McDonald's. Oh, okay, you don't drink McDonald's now, but have you ate it in the past? Yeah. And what else did you eat too? Right? Either knowingly or unknowingly in these bodies. So they ain't really worth a damn anyway. But one of the ways that we're going to humble ourselves in the sight of the Lord is be prepared to be unalive, man, for believing in him. Like our sheep would be unalived. Not on no battlefield warrior style where you're trying to drink ale from curved horns. Right? Where you're in a humble situation, right? You can't go nowhere, you can't run, you can't escape. All you're being asked is, do you still want to hold your integrity and believe in the Lord? This Yahawah? This Yahawah of the children of Israel? Do you still want that you've never seen? Do you still want to believe in that? There's still time to take the Motb and be a member of our society. There's still time. This is your last chance. What are you saying? This is your last chance. What are you gonna say? This is your last. Are you gonna say, yeah, okay, I'll join with you guys? Or are you gonna say, nah, to hell with what you're talking about? Kalala Yahawah Shem Yahushai. Swing the blade, man, and swing true. I'm tired of living in this place. Anyway, swing it, man. In fact, you know what? I've been wondering what was gonna take you so long. I've been waiting years for you to be trying to put this situation out there. Hurry up, man. And I'll be seeing you when I get changed. You know what I mean? Like that's what we'd hope we're gonna say, stuff like that, right? We'd hope we're gonna be on that kind of time. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter if you've got snot drizzling down your nose, crying tears, because you didn't think you was gonna end up in that situation, but you do, and then you still don't take it. It's better to be looking crazy as hell and not take it, than looking smooth and you did take it, right? It's better to look crazy as hell, snot drizzling. You might soil yourself, right? You wet yourself, you pooed your pants, you farted on yourself, right? But you don't take the Motb though, that would be better. Then you looked smooth as hell. Like you was living in slow motion, but you took it anyway. What was the point of that then? Verse 18 saying we will fall into the saying we will fall into the hand of the Lord and not into the hand of men. I didn't even know I was going to say it like that then. But and I'll end the video on this scripture, verse 17 again. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight. Then we will fall into the hand of the Lord and not into the hand of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy. Exactly. Our spirits are even prepared to just be like, man, forget this world. You know what, man? Run the guillotine, man. Run it then. Swing it, man. There's that song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming forth to carry me home. But we might hit it with a remix, Swing Low, Sweet Guillotine, coming forth to carry me home too, man. Right? Swing low, sweet guillotine blade, coming forth to carry me home. Because once that happens, you're with the Lord after that. You've already done your honorable deed now. All the wickedness that you ever did before that will be forgiven. And you're going to be forgiven and forgotten. If you can just have that spirit strengthened enough for that on that one time frame, man, that one chance when they try and manipulate you into giving up on the Lord, you say, bun whatever you're talking about. No matter what they do and what they say. But our spirits are being made strong to be able to handle doing that anyway. Verse 18 again saying we will fall into the hand of the Lord. And in this situation where you fall into the hand of the Lord, you're choosing to trust that Yahawah is going to bring you back onto the earth again, right? Then believing that this society is the only thing that exists and the only reality that's possible, and that there ain't no other way, there ain't no other system, there ain't no other possible chance of there being a different world than this. We don't want to believe that, right? Saying we will fall into the hand of the Lord and not into the hand of men, which if we're falling into the hand of men, we're taking the Motb then. And we're like, okay, he can find out everything I'm doing, find out where I've been, where I'm going to go, what I want to do, what I'm thinking at the moment. right? Look through my eyes like a damn GTA character in POV mode, you know? Some first person shooter. Nah, that we don't want to fall into the hands of men. We want to fall into the hands of the Lord, man. For as his majesty is, so with his mercy, okay, you unalive me, you hit me with the guillotine, but I believe I'm going to come back. Just like how those sons and that mother believed in the back in that story in Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter, I believe it is. We're hoping to be like that, man. Right? That's our hope. I know that's my hope, man. I hope I'm of the elect, man. But and the sad thing is, if you're not of the elect, you didn't ever have a chance to change it from being like that anyway. None of us did, right? But the hope is that we're of the elect, man, and we're hoping that Yahawah's going to strengthen our spirit to deny us from taking that Motb, man, in that hour of temptation. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.